everybody. Welcome to Rivalz Race Chat. And Adam here. We are weekly. And on Wednesday, we try to be here Tuesdays, and we appreciate everybody shifting around. I know some people don't necessarily get the message. Yesterday, it was hard to get the message out at all. Facebook was down, but that's not why we're off.
It's a good thing. It's a good thing we weren't on yesterday.
Yeah.
Right? True. The news is broken since then. This is Christmas in March. Got some happy faces, some happy chatter. Sorry to bust in on you there, Clinton, but this is exciting, right? You don't get this sort of cool news in this part of the off season.
Well, we've got a good vibe going on. We've got three of the hottest stories from the Ontario racing scene this weekend coming on. Ray Morneau has just joined us, and we'll get on to Ray in a moment. Then we're going to talk to Greg McPherson about the Motorama show this weekend and all the stuff that they've got going on in Toronto, and why all you viewers should make sure you venture out to the International Center in Mississauga at some point over the weekend. And then the biggest story that just broke, Adam, as you mentioned, you said it's Christmas in March. Well, the Marsh family have just bought Southern Ontario Motor Speedway / South Buxton. Will Marsh was a crate racer with us, and it's great to have him on. So he's agreed to come on at 8:45. So in about 40 minutes from now, we hope to have Will on to talk about the family's purchase and what their plans are going forward. And it's just great to be able to turn the leaf, Adam. I think anytime you lose a speedway and can bring it back, the fans are going to cherish it a little bit more because it was that close to being gone. I think a lot of the asphalt folks here in Southern Ontario feel that way about Jukasa. And, you got to think if they could get something going there again, it would be massive because, just the nostalgia and how many more are we going to get?
And furthermore, Southwestern Ontario, Clinton, is a huge hotbed for racing. We've got the Golden Horseshoe, right? You got the Niagara region for dirt modified racers. It's always been a hotbed. You've got different pockets here and there. But Southwestern Ontario is huge for motorsports, and it always has been. So that would have left a huge void, right? Losing South Buxton left a big gap in that racing scene. I mean, our first guest tonight comes from Windsor. There's a hotbed of racers in the Windsor area. So really, it's a big deal.
It would be the same as losing like a Delaware, in that same, because there's all the racers. They built a great culture of many generations around that, akin to Brighton too, not really a lot of support. Not like if Maryville or Humberstone were to close, but you could flip over to one to the other. It's only 15 minutes away. It's not a real hardship other than losing the speedway itself. But, man, to have to find a new 2 to 3 hour, 4 hour, 5 hour drive away to continue your hobby makes it tough. So, great to hear. We'll talk about them. Let's not waste any more time because we do have an action-packed show. The other thing I got a lot of crap from, Dad Gary gave me shit last week because we missed the Burger Barn Biddy of the Week. We got about 4 or 5 of them lined up tonight, some really good ones. So, don't let us forget that. Let's jump into Ray Morneau and what he's got going on down in the West. Welcome to the program, Ray Morneau. Are we Ray Morneau or are we still Ray Jr.? What's the official term, Ray? Where are we going with it these days?
I've been called worse, so Ray Morneau is good. Ray Morneau Jr. kind of came up out of nowhere because my dad's Randy, so
well, that's what confused the shit out of me.
All right, well, it's easy to drop it then.
A lot of people thought my dad used to race at Delaware, and they thought his name was Ray, so I don't know if that's where it came from, but I said, I've been called worse, but Ray Morneau works for me.
Adam, let's set up Ray a little bit, because our viewers may not know who Ray is. Let them know where we know Ray from, why we're excited about having him on, and what it's going to mean to have him on the APC series.
Long-time late model racer now. For as young as Ray is, he's a veteran race car driver. But late models, ran Delaware Speedway. He's run the APC series before. I think he put himself on the map when he qualified in the top 5 at Jukasa was it the very first Nationals, Ray, or the second?
No, that was the APC race in 2019. We ended up 3rd, I think, or 2nd. Can't remember exactly. And then ended up 5th.
Yeah, so, I mean, just a big outing when a lot of people didn't know who Ray Morneau was. Now they do. Ray is one of the most popular drivers. Everyone, in fact, I wear your sweatshirt quite a bit, right? Like if we go out somewhere, but so many people support Ray Morneau. And there's a reason for it. We're going to talk to you for 15 minutes here or so, however long it is, and people will realize why you're so damn popular. It's hard to dislike Ray Morneau. So, that's the introduction. talk about what you've got going on this season, Ray.
Yeah, so obviously super excited. I'm sure most saw the announcement, but super excited to join the APC series with Leuna backing us, and with Casey Cash Racing. That all stemmed from my sponsor and really, really good buddy, Jonathan Arts. He had this idea and dream, and it was my dream to get to the APC series as well. And we've been trying and trying. We did that 1 year, and it seemed like anything that could break broke. It was just not a good year for us. But Jonathan made it happen, and we really appreciate it. Like I said, it's been a dream of ours to do it, and now that we're able to do it, I can't wait. And we also have the Delaware series that we're doing. We're doing the weekly Friday night shows, so it's going to be very busy, very, very busy. And we're taking care of Jonathan Arts' car as well. He has purchased a car, and he's going to run a couple nights a year. So we're taking care of that car as well. So it's going to be very busy.
I got to meet John Arts at Delaware last year in the campground. Now, there's no way in hell you and him are sharing a ride with the same seat. He's like two Rays stacked on top of each other. Like, Adam, you need a step ladder to look up to this dude. Like, he's a big guy. What is he,
that
like,
right?
6'9" or something? He's a big, great guy.
I think he's 6'7" or 6'9". He is a giant. So no, you're right. We won't be sharing a car. He purchased one late last year and got some work done to it. They extended the foot box, I think, like 4 or 6 inches. Of course. And so he's got that all ready to go. It's at our shop right now. We're running through it, and I'm going to be wrapping it and have it ready to go for the season.
Ray, will it be separate?
Go ahead.
Separate in the APC tour?
I'm sorry, you broke up there. I couldn't hear you.
Will you run 2 different cars? One for Delaware and one for they're okay.
Yeah, so my car from last year, we're going to run at Delaware weekly on the Friday shows. And then my sponsor had purchased a car last year from McCall Racing, and we're looking forward to getting out with it. I think it's going to be a really good piece.
Ray, I think a lot of the reason you had such support is, the family team, the low-budget team going against the big guys. Are you still going to be able to maintain that small guy attitude with this new deal? How much has this changed the financial picture for RMR?
This definitely helps. Like I said, it's if it was just our family team trying to do it, there's no way we'd be able to run the whole series. So fortunate to get the deal to run the series. We're still doing all the work on it. So we're me and my dad and our crew, we're going to take care of both cars as well as Jonathan. So it's a big task to take on, but it's the opportunity that I thought would never come up, and we need to seize the opportunity and see what we can do with it. Hopefully everything turns out the way we hope it does, and try and come out with a couple of wins and contend for a championship.
So there's another great point, Ray, that the landscape has changed a little bit for this coming season, with a lot of names saying, hey, we're not going to follow the full tour. Defending champion is coming back to follow the full tour. Do you think this is perfect timing for you to be able to come in and assert yourself right away as one of the contenders?
I hope so. It's unfortunate that some guys are leaving the series. One guy that I talk to quite often, Geoffrey, I would have really enjoyed to race against him. I know he smoked us last year, and we finished second to him at the last race. But it's always fun to race against him. He's a really fierce competitor, and you want more competition out there. It only raises your team's bar. And but with that being said, there's still a lot of good cars out there and good competition. So we're looking forward to it. But like you said, with some of the guys leaving, it does open up the opportunity for us to maybe sneak in and try and contend for wins in a championship.
Ray, what's the hardest part going into the year? Obviously take the funding out, take, the people end out of it. What's the toughest part for you, or maybe what's the toughest track you're kind of concerned about maybe going to this year?
Peterborough is a big one for me. I've been there once in a super stock, and it wasn't a great experience. The car was not right when we got there, and we never really could get it right. So I only have one race there in a super stock, and it's going to be a lot different with the late models. So that's the one that's really concerning me. And then obviously Sunset. You talk to a lot of people, and it chews up tires. So 200 laps for the first race will be an eye opener to see where we stack up and how I can do as a driver to save my stuff and be there for the end.
What are you talking about? It chews up tires. 2 drivers chose not to even come into the pits, and they wound up in the top 4. That's all you gotta do. Just stay out when they have the brakes. Stay out, hold tires, and make your car as wide as you can.
We tried that last year.
He makes it sound so easy.
Right?
Question from Garrett. Garrett Teamersma says, question for Ray. How much of the sponsorship dollars are going to be allocated to fuel?
I saw that question, and that'll be something to find out at the end of the year. We don't really know. Like last year, say for our Delaware series, our car, we had 5 barrels that we used. So I'd imagine we're going to be probably 8 to 10 barrels of fuel. And then obviously hauling from Windsor is going to be tough. Gas prices aren't going down. So the truck fuel is going to be pretty crazy. But we're going to see what it's like, and we'll let you guys know later on in the season how we're doing.
Adam, Ray, I just want to follow up there for a second. Hold on, Adam. Ray, what's a barrel of fuel worth? Is it still around 15 Canadian and change, some of that, depending on what fuel you're running? Like, just so our viewers know, like, what's 5 or 6 barrels worth? That's closing in on 10 Gs, right? In race gas alone.
Yeah, so I believe, I'd have to check the bills, but I believe it was like high 15s last year by the time you get it out of the door from APC. I don't know if there's some sort of deal. Obviously, we're going to be going through a lot, so I don't know if there's some sort of quantity deal. But yeah, it's right around 15, I think.
Ray, at what point do you stop counting? Because I know the year that you traveled with APC, if I'm not mistaken, you went backwards a long ways. I seem to recall you saying it was going to take you a little while to pay for what you accomplished that year. Do you keep close track? Do you race on a budget, or do you just keep going doing what you have to do until there's nothing left?
Well, we have a budget to work with, obviously, just like I'd assume most other teams. So we have to play within that budget, but we're gonna go at it full tilt and see what it brings. Right, you take it race by race for sure, and then just like I said, go from there with how things are going throughout the year and figure out what we need.
Ray, so much work goes into getting these cars ready. Your dad seems to spend a lot of time. It's kind of his passion. It's a family deal. How's the relationship with Dad? I can ask this because, I remember having great times and really tough times with my dad in the shop. I think we all go through that father-son deal. It's easy to love and hate each other on shop days sometimes. How's the morale at home?
It's good right now. Right now, everything's great. We're gearing up for the season. So, it's me and my dad got a good relationship. Obviously, he's done everything for me to get to this point. So to be able to do this, it's obviously been a dream of his to be able to go on tour. So to do it and hopefully do it right, we're looking forward to it. But like I said, it's all good now. Just we'll see halfway through the year when we're at each other's throat with what we're doing in the garage, the heat of the summer. But we're usually pretty good, so we can usually have a couple beers at the end of the night and talk stuff over.
What sort of expectations, what sort of pressure is there on you, Ray, to get out there and perform? I'm sure that conversation has come up.
Yeah, obviously after the year we had last year, it wasn't what I wanted, wasn't what our team wanted. It was a very, very tough year, both on and off the track. But we're for Delaware, obviously we're aiming for a championship and race wins. And APC, I'd say the same. Obviously, it's going to be a very, very tall task to go out and win and contend for a championship. But we're all hands on deck to try and make ourselves contenders. And I think we have a shot at doing it. It's going to be a lot of work and a lot of learning right away.
Ray, in the picture we showed that you guys shared, it's a Ford. Are you in the Ford camp with the APC deal?
So it's a Ford Mustang body, but it's got a Chevy motor in it. So this car was Pete Vanderwees' car from last year. So got to run with it a few times, had a good look at it, and it's a good piece. And I'm looking forward to driving it and seeing where we stack up.
And I know I'm not always very bright. Why number 30?
So the 30, my sponsor and, like I said, good buddy Jonathan Arts, now car owner. He's part of Rhett Jones Racing down south. So just trying to carry on that livery from down there. He's, like I said, he's pretty involved down there. So wants to bring it up here, and hopefully with the speed that they have with Kyle there and New Smyrna, hopefully that'll translate to the 30 in Ontario.
Right on, Ray. Yeah, I was going to bring up, that's the reason I ask is show it if you can, Spencer. They announced a new Ford program contingency deal for the APC series. So that's awesome that they're still working. Good to see the major sponsors get back involved in the builders. So Ford Performance Contingency Program. Basically, winner, second, and third get a couple $100, $150. So that's good. Good to see the major manufacturers get in the sport and contribute back. So it doesn't really affect you much, right? But it's an APC deal. But
well, wait, does it have to be Ford powered?
Yeah, it's for Ford drivers. Yeah, it's for the Ford engines.
You got a Ford body.
Yeah,
they're paying you for the engine or for what people think the engine is.
Adam. Behave.
I call bullshit.
Ray.
He's driving a damn Ford. Pay him Ford money.
It specifically now you want to argue about it. Bring it back, Spencer. I think the first paragraph says, for any team that uses a sealed Ford crate motor engine part number, and it displays on Ford's website info. There you go. Thanks, Spencer. That's good. You have to register on the website.
Take the logo off the front of it. Call it a Mitsubishi, Ray. Boycott.
I was going to ask Ray's opinion on the state of affairs with the APC series, because they seem to be working very hard to put great programs together to help out the racers, Mr. Ross.
It is a great program. Don't get me wrong. I'm just being a smartass. But there were a lot of unusual deals over the last number of years in other main series, because the logo that was on the car wasn't necessarily what the car was powered by, and there were different workarounds to the rules. But as far as I'm concerned, if the fans think you're running a Ford and that's what you're praising when you get out of it, you're doing Ford a good service. Nobody knows what the hell the power plant is in it. So if they're giving you payback money, that's fine too. Good for them.
Ray, it's been great having you on. Anything else we need to get out here tonight before we send you packing?
I want to thank Leuna for coming on board. This is a big deal for us. The small team from Windsor, we're looking forward to it. So, like I said, Leuna, Jonathan Arts, the John Arts group, they're on board of our Delaware car, and they will be somewhere on the APC car as well. So, those two for right now, and we're working real hard on the rest of our paint scheme and everything to come out with that. So look forward to the next couple weeks when we can start releasing stuff. And I just want to thank again my family, mom, dad, sister Dana, Dana's dessert. She's just cooking some muffins, I think. So right after this, I'm gonna be in there chowing down. And then just gotta thank my girlfriend for putting up with my racing addiction. So I appreciate you guys having me on, and we're looking forward to this year.
Thanks a lot, Ray. Appreciate it.
Awesome.
We wish you the best. We're watching. We'll follow Ray's story. As you recall, we'll be live G-Force producing the APC series on Racing America Live, every event this summer. So good to have it.
And Mr. Dyson makes a good point. Ford makes money when you buy their engine, not when you buy a body from 5-Star, possibly why. And that's what I was saying is the difference. One of those is an advertising thing, a promotional thing, because they want to encourage people to run Ford so that the fans see Fords in the field and equate that to car racing. The other thing, exactly like you just mentioned, is you buy an engine from Ford, you're giving Ford money. They're giving some of that back, which is something that General Motors, I don't think, ever did. So hats off to Ford. Like I said, I was being a bit of a smart ass there, but there are different two different trains of thought there. One is a loyalty program. You buy the product, you get loyalty similar to, say, whether it's a Hoosier tire or an American Racer tire, you get a portion of that back. The other is advertising. So if it does have a Ford logo on it, I don't know why someone would run a Ford logo if they're not running a Ford car, or any logo if they're not running that car. But hey, whatever turns you on.
You know what's a good loyalty program? When you don't piss on our partners' programs.
I didn't piss on the program. I pissed on the fact that Ray doesn't get to take advantage of it.
There's a time for you to just nod and know you're wrong. And that was the time.
Oh, shut
Ray
your
explained that he bought the car, and it still had a Ford sticker on it. I mean, the bodies are all the same pretty much, right? So
it had 0 stickers on it except for the Ford on the front. Pull the goddamn thing off.
I'm sorry.
It's going to be the second week in a row. It's going to be the second week in a row. My kid and my wife are going to say, "You okay?" "Yeah, I'm okay. Just getting worked up for the sake of entertainment." Going,
that's good. Hey, while we rate, Greg McPherson should be joining us shortly. Daryl Turford just messaged me back. He's going to join us to talk about World Racing Group buying ASCS Sprint Car Tour. He was on tour with the ASCS for the last couple of years. Bring us a couple minutes of insight into that. Let's jump into some videos of the week. Let's cool the simmer down. Take a pace lap here. Throw the yellow.
I don't see why you want to cool.
Calm down.
I don't see why you want to cool things down. Once you get on the rev chip, you want to stay there.
Let's roll a couple of videos. We got some good ones. No, we can fight about it. There's nothing fight. These ones are going to be, you're going to like this one. Steve Shaw said we should get the finish line figured out. They love it when we fight. Roll one, Spencer. What do we got? Okay, look at this. This guy, someone shared this. This guy is cleaning off his pit stall at the end night with a blower. Like, this is overkill on class for a racer, I think.
That's pretty impressive.
You know, leaves his spot. We'd be happy if you just pick up the garbage. We don't expect you to clean all up, but I thought that was respectful of the racetrack. Right? That was really cool.
We should show the video. We should show the leaf blower video I sent you half an hour ago.
Yeah, putting Dad in the balloon. Next one, Spencer. Okay, look at this. This is a go-kart track in the back. Just had to get the UMP mod out for a few laps. Says just need 3 more. Let's go for it.
Good God. I think that's the Short Track Super Series racing at Action Track USA, isn't it?
That is tight. But, man, looks like fun. These guys never fail to impress. What else we got, Spencer? Oh, this is Daytona. Stop it there, Spencer, first. So this is the end of the Daytona Supercross. So this would be like us. Our vantage point would be sitting in the grandstands at Daytona, and on the grass infield, right, like between pit road and the tri-oval, they build the Supercross track. This is from last Saturday, and they have rails, so the track is on the grass, but they let people stand on the actual track behind barriers, almost like standing room only on the high banking of the front straightaway. And I was there 2 weeks ago, so I can tell you how banked it is, and people are standing there, the riders fly by. But at the end of this race, Adam, everybody rushes the field like they would at a college football game in the States. You still have drivers crossing the track to finish the finish line. And look at people are running out on the track, and look at this mob scene. Let it go. It's unbelievably unsafe. And they're all trying to get to the podium, and you still have racers on the track. Just thousands and thousands of people rushing onto this.
I actually just overheard the announcer saying, "I've never," and none of us have ever, but how do you get that many people at the same time from that far a distance, like that's got to be some sort of premeditated.
No, I think they've done it the last couple of years, and they break out earlier. Now it's just a standing people barrier, like at a concert. Like I could push it over with one hand. It's not really holding anything back. So as soon as that first winner or top three went over, they didn't give a crap about the other 25 guys. They just all barreled out onto the track. It's insane, you know. Anyways, those are our Burger Run videos of the week.
I can picture a motorcycle landing on somebody just like one of the two commercials we get on Fox Racing. You know, there's only two ads you get if you watch a truck race, and one of them is that dumbest thing on wheels. So they come down and land on those two girls.
We got to find out how to buy the advertising for that. So my buddy,
I know.
Team Max Bar and Grill, like, man, it can't be that expensive to put our Schweek ads there instead of this junk. Let's bring on Greg McPherson, who gracefully took some time to join us this week, and probably his busiest of all weeks. Greg, I can only imagine what you're going through on the eve of move-in day, so for you to give us 5 or 10 minutes here is big. Greg is a principal with Inside Track magazines and also the Motorama Car Show coming up at the International Center in Mississauga this weekend. We're going to run some pictures of the show, Greg. Give us the Coles notes on why all our viewers need to get out to the International Center Friday from 10 to 8, Saturday 10 to 8, or Sunday 10 to 5.
Hey, hi guys! Thanks so much for having me on. And also,
thanks for being here.
I can't believe that Daytona thing I just watched with you guys. Like, as someone who for years would like go to Kawartha Speedway or Delaware, and NASCAR wouldn't even let you shoot from anywhere. Like, the fact that they let that happen, you know, with fans running onto the track like that—that's insane. Anyway, but yeah, we're all set to go. It's crazy. Like we're just a small staff, so we're putting on the show this weekend, March 8, 9, 10 at the International Center. But it's just so exciting. There's so much support. The racing community just awesome. Like the racing zone this year is just going to be packed, and it's all indications can be great. It's I think it's the Goldilocks weather, like not too bad, not too nice. No, really. Like if you get a blizzard or you get a beautiful day, like people are like, oh, I don't want to be inside. But so 5 and maybe a little damp sounds pretty good to us. So anyway, it's just, and no pandemic. So that's always good.
Yeah, that helps for sure. But traditionally, there's a blizzard every year at that car show. As long as I can remember, there's epic weather rolls in. I
remember it being really cold sometimes, like for move out from shows, and even like one of the Performance World. And I've never been colder in my life, but it looks like we're going to be okay this weekend.
Aside from the weather,
go ahead, Adam.
Aside from the weather and the pandemic, Greg, what keeps you up at night leading to a show like this? What pops into your mind and gives you panic?
It is. I usually sleep pretty well. Like, you work hard, but you sleep well. But for the couple weeks leading up to the show, you just get this sort of 4 a.m, the list starts going in your head, and like, oh, I got to do that. It's like, and the funny thing with the magazine, you do, 72 pages and you're done, and you put it to bed, take a little break, and then you're on to the next. But with the show, and like you guys would know this, and Clinton promoting a track, like, you're not done until the show's over that night. So you can only sell tickets. You can only make things better beforehand. So it's every minute. So if you're not working, not trying to tweak it or make it the best you can before the show, then you feel like you're wasting time and missing an opportunity. So that's kind of where we're at.
In my racing personal history, that show has 2 black marks. The one is the Thursday of the pandemic, because it was like we're on the eve of it 4 years ago. We showed up there. That's when we first started hearing, oh, my goodness, could the world actually shut down? Like, I can't imagine what you guys must have went through, Greg. And the other black mark is that's where Glenn introduced me to my partner in crime here, Adam Ross, 29 years ago or something. John Kleck's had it with the show. So that's where we met. But, I can tell you, Greg, a lot of good business, straight up. Sometimes we're frustrated. Do we want to do Motorama? And then I look back and I think all the great business I've been able to do for Osh Weekend, met the guys from Rev there, Mike Garrow and that, did a lot of good business with Quick over the years there. Tony Spiteri and his crews have always been great. So for me, I find it's a great networking weekend aside from all the cars. What excites you about this weekend, Greg. You got all the problems, and Adam's the one that taught me, don't dread the good things. You wait all year for this weekend. Don't dread it away and hope it'll be gone. You have to get excited about something. So what are you excited about this weekend?
The coolest thing going on, and you kind of touched on it a little bit, like when we go down to PRI or SEMA or something, the best things, something always good happens, and the best things that happen, you never plan for. You never know. And if you don't go and you're not there, then it'll never have happened. But so cool to see all the tracks and series and exhibitors, like everyone's activating, like up, I don't know, hopefully it's just not my feed, but it seems like everything I look at is somebody talking about what they're doing at the show this weekend, what they're unveiling, new products they're bringing, and it's kind of getting that like PRI feel where you got to go there and it's where things happen. So that's the coolest part for us. It's good for the industry and it's coming together. And like, yeah, we all go to Indianapolis in December, but it's cool that nice things and business can happen at Motorama, in March.
Greg, what do you think about, I've got my opinion, but being someone who's been in motorsports media for 30 years now, all of the up and coming podcasters and interviewers, the sport has never been able to popularize so many grassroots racers as they have now with it. And I don't want to miss anybody, but Jomo coming out, Cam Harris coming out, Wide World of Motorsports coming out, but all these people, do you ever look and think, yeah, that's really cool to see young people? Because there hasn't been a ton of them embrace getting into amazing. The media.
And so we're doing a thing. So there's a fellow who helps us with Inside Track. You guys probably know him, Bryce Turner. So this year he's helping us organize. We've dedicated a 20 by 20 space in the racing zone at the show just for the media and podcasters. So they've got a bit of a base to operate from. So I just want them to all go nuts, like whether it's on the stage there or visiting people in all of your booths, like, going to like GSR booth or Schweeken and getting stuff like on tape that they can all play and spread the word. And like you say, it's all grassroots. It's not hard hitting. A lot of like Cam, like they're Cam Harris, they're fans of the sport. They just want to help it grow and they're into promotion mode. So yeah, like we totally encourage those guys, and we're honored and happy that they're coming out to do their thing at the show. So hopefully they get a lot of great content out of it.
That's great. Greg, we don't want to keep you too much longer. Again, the Motorama show goes Friday from 10 to 8, Saturday 10 to 8, Sunday 10 to 5. I just want to bring up a thing here, Greg. Maybe you can tell us about it. Friday's discount promo code was the one thing that caught my eye out of the email you sent a little while ago. There's a way that people can save a lot of money if they want to come out on Friday. Can you explain how that's going to work, courtesy of eBay Motors?
Yeah, absolutely. So Friday, we're thinking we're going to be really busy on Saturday and Sunday. So we're just trying to, encourage some people, maybe if they can make it on Friday or they want to save a couple of bucks. So yeah, if you go to motoramashow.com, which is our homepage, at the top, it says, get tickets. If you click on that link, there's a bar at the top for promo code. And so, yeah, if you use eBay Motors, it'll drop the prices. And it's a Friday only thing, but usually for an adult admission, tax included is $25. But for the Friday, if you use that promo code eBay Motors, between opening and 5 o'clock, 10 to 5, it's $15, so save $10. And then if you come to the show after 5 o'clock, I think it's just $5 to get in. Like, you don't have a ton of time after, but if someone can make it after work and they want to come Friday when it's a little quieter, then it's a good deal for them too.
That's a smoking deal.
That's really cool.
$5, and you can do a lot from Friday till 5 till 8.
Yeah, just if you want to hit that window, it's not a ton of time, but traditionally that's sort of a quieter time. In the morning, we've got, I think it's 100 bus loads full of kids coming, and it's a good B2B day. Like a lot of people do business on the Friday, like seeing people for the first time all year. And then we're doing pre-ticket sales. It's looking really busy for the weekend.
That's awesome. Greg, I've got a final question for you, and I don't know the answer to this. What got it? Nothing to do with the show. What got you started into motorsports journalism? Like who taught you? Who was your mentor?
So I went just to try and be quick as I can. I went to U of T, finished in 1990 with a poli-sci specialist degree. It was almost like 2008. It was a time when everyone was getting fired. They didn't even bother to have a job fair. So I got a part-time job with a friend of mine from university who worked for a small racing paper at Young and Wellesley called Performance Racing News. So I got a part-time job there, and it started to grow. And before you knew it, he was the editor and I was assistant editor. And we worked there till 1997, 7 years, till myself and 3 others left to start our own stuff. And we started Inside Track Labor Day 1997. And it was kind of out of necessity. And like I didn't imagine it would be like all these years, since 1990, that it's the same thing. But no, it's been amazing. And then to get the opportunity to do what was the CME and then turned into, being able to have that March break pre-date for, Motorama show. Next year's our 10th year, and it's also the 50th year since Dizzy Dean Murray did the first motion show in 75. So we're kind of already excited about next year because we're trying to work on some neat things for a 10th/50th anniversary.
Awesome.
Right on, Greg. Get some rest. It's going to be a busy weekend. It'll be Monday morning before you know it, and we will see you all weekend. So appreciate you coming on.
Thanks for your support, and thanks for having me on, guys. All the best.
Thanks, Greg. Have a good night. One of the busiest guys in Ontario this weekend, man. I am glad I'm not Greg McPherson and his crew this weekend. Man, you think trying to please 150 race teams are a problem? Try and please like 3,000 vendors from all walks of life. Man, it's quite a mixing bowl. We got to keep jumping, though. Now we're switching gears to sprint car news. Daryl Turford's going to join us. Daryl was a professional crew chief out on the ASCS Sprint Car Tour. News came out this weekend that World Racing Group, owners of the Super Dirt Car Series Big Block Modifieds, Dirt Car Racing, Dirt Car UMP, and of course the World of Outlaws have now purchased the 360 Tour ASCS. Daryl, I don't know where you sit on this. I don't know how political you got to be on this. You've seen both sides of it, so we'll take it either way. Of course, you're invested with the SOS with your father, Peter. Welcome to the show. What does this mean for 360 Racing? Is this a good or bad thing that World Racing Group has purchased the ASCS 360 national kind of governing body for sprint cars?
First of all, thanks for having me on. Second of all, I don't think anyone really knows. The deal happened very late. When we were at East Bay, we started to get texts from guys on the ASCS tour saying their checks had bounced. And here we are like 2 or 3 weeks later, and now the World Racing Group has bought them. And obviously we've run with the series a lot, so we've contacted them and they've contacted us in terms of, do we have teams we want to race with out there? Do we want to do it? And because they bought it so recently, it wasn't really planned, and they'll openly say it wasn't really planned. Normally they like to plan these things out by like 2 months, and this fell into their lap. So it's really hard to say. They could go a lot of ways with it. They could run it bare bones, or they could really put a lot into it. But I do know the purchase is really important. Right now, 360 engines are really at a crossroads in terms of they're always expensive, but they're starting to get another level expensive to where they're almost matching 410s. And we really need really good leadership right now to make some really good decisions. So it's really going to depend who they put in charge of it, because whoever it is has to. The kind of questions they're going to face aren't the kind of questions you can answer in 15 seconds. They're the kind of questions where you have to really research it out and think it through. So whoever they put in there, that's really going to tell the tale of whether or not this is a good purchase or not.
Daryl, is there enough good people to go around? I mean, World of Outlaws, High Limit Racing, ASCS, you know all the entities that are out there. Are there enough intelligent people?
Honestly, I'd say yes. Like, there's obviously rumors of who they're going to put in charge, and the two I'm hearing, I'd be comfortable with either one of them running it. They're definitely people that have experience on the road and understand the nuances, that have some officiating experience to where they won't be caught completely off guard. If it's the people I'm hearing, I'd actually be pretty comfortable with it. You'd actually be surprised traveling the country how many good officials there are. Sometimes you go and there's disasters, but I'm often frequently surprised at how many good officials there are out there, even in series you don't realize are really well run series. Like there's a series in Wisconsin called the IRA, and I don't know, they're probably fourth or fifth in the grand scheme of traveling 410 series, but when it's time to run the Knoxville Nationals, they want their main official as one of the main officials of the Knoxville Nationals. So I'd actually say there's probably more than you think, but there's also some terrible ones.
Yeah, I've probably got an hour worth of questions I could ask you about the 360 versus 410 thing. Let's stick to the ASCS for a couple minutes, and then I want to talk to you quickly about Southern Ontario Motor Speedway Bucks and the purchase of that by a sprint car family. I know you and your dad have been kind of still trying to wave the flag for Henry, what he had going in the rebuild down there. We'll get to that in a minute, but the one thing I see about this ASCS deal, does that mean we're going to see more TV coverage on Dirt Vision for 360 Racing? That's the one thing I think that I took out of it, because they've got all that built right in.
Well, you're hitting me in the weak spot right now. My biggest complaint with the ASCS was that for years we'd have our highlight packages and they wouldn't be put out on YouTube. So you had this 5-year hole where the ASCS fell behind because the World of Outlaws were putting out highlights. The All-Stars were putting out highlights. All these series were putting out highlights, and we were 5 years behind. And I think the ASCS started to really lose relevance, and I think a lot of it was just people weren't seeing it. And I kind of shake my head when I hear people complain, oh, why they playing Oshweekend? Guys might not show up to Oshweekend Speedway now. I shake my head. That makes you guys relevant. I can go to places like Knoxville and I'll find a random person that's actually seen Oshweekend Speedway. I talk to drivers all the time. Usually they're so far south it's not practical, but you talk to pretty much every driver you see out 360 racing, they all want to run the Canadian Nationals at some point. Usually it's not practical for them, but why do you think that is? It's because they do see it on the internet eventually, and I think that presence was really what led to the downfall of the ASCS. People stopped thinking they knew Sam was good, they knew Blake Hahn was good, but they didn't really know who the other good guys were, and there's some killers on that series, but no one saw them. No one knows what they're capable of. So yeah, I think the TV aspect is going to be very huge, and if there's one thing I think World Racing Group can do that really wasn't being done before, I think they'll be able to bring in a sponsor, and with the addition of TV, I think those are the two most likely ways that the ASCS really gets propped up.
Daryl, you've been around the block a time or two. Talk about bounce checks. You don't hear about people not getting paid that much anymore. Is that commonplace at all in racing circles? Decades ago it was.
It's not commonplace at all, to be honest with you. And one of the things that bothers me is the guy who ran the series, his name's Terry Maddox, he's just getting dragged under the bus, and I really think he did a great job running the series. He bought it with 2 years left in the last 2 years, and he made all kinds of changes. If I went to him, he was very much like Clinton. He was very receptive to change for the positive. He was very receptive to listening to my ideas and other people's ideas, but man, he crossed a line you just can't cross. And that kills every good thing he did. I think he could have written these drivers and said, hey, look, I can't pay the points fund right now. And I think everyone but the champion would have said, hey, would have dealt with it, would have. But when he wrote the checks, that was it. As soon as he wrote those bad checks, all the goodwill, all the everything, man, it's just a line you can't cross. And I think most of motorsports realizes that. I think he got himself in a hole, and I wish he'd have just told the teams. I wish he wouldn't have written the checks. Because this guy doesn't deserve to get dragged through the mud like he is, but at the same time, when you do that, yeah, you probably got to get dragged.
Right on, Daryl. We won't keep you, but I do want to ask you to come back in a week or two. I want to discuss the 360 410. How far are we? I'll just ask this in closing, my last one for you. How many years are we from not seeing 360s anymore and we convert everybody to 410s? 5, 10 years?
Not happening. It's not happening.
No, we're going to be on 360.
My quick answer is the 410s are about to go up in price a ton to where there is a big gap again. That's my quick answer.
All right.
So how long before the 410s disappear and we're all racing 360s?
I don't think they're just going to disappear. I just think there's going to be a significant percentage less.
All right.
All the
Nice,
hotbeds
fair
will
enough.
still be, but everywhere else will be gone.
We definitely need to bring you back. We could talk sprint cars a lot longer. But the hot story now, Will Marsh is here to talk about the purchase of Southern Ontario Motor Speedway in South Buxton. So let's jump into that. Daryl, thanks so much for your time tonight. Spencer just flushed Daryl right out the door. Bye, Daryl. We can see you, bud. I appreciate what you did. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you, Daryl.
Spencer's like, get out. Our next guest is here. Will, welcome to the program. So let's set up Will Marsh. Will's a great racer with the Action Sprinters. Spent some time on the road with us. A lot of stuff's been talked about on this program and all in circles about Southern Ontario Motor Speedway in South Buxton and how that was going to be handled with Henry looking to sell the place. Will, welcome to the program. This is all breaking news this afternoon and into the evening. Give us your version of what's going to happen down in the West on the dirt this summer.
Thank you guys for having us. I really appreciate it. It's a huge opportunity. I love watching your guys' show. Really, it's kind of a spur of the moment thing. We weren't planning on buying a racetrack this year, but it was one of those things. We just kind of started talking to Henry more and more, and it all kind of seemed to fit into our plan and what we're kind of more leaning towards to do with the dirt world. And we've seen how much the sprint car world alone is growing, let alone the dirt world in Ontario. So it's just one of those things that we just kind of thought this would be a great opportunity for us to not only jump on board now, but in general, we've seen all the work that Henry did at the track and stuff like that, and we really feel like we can keep expanding on what he did and hopefully keep growing it with not only G-Force, but YouTube and just the newer generation of racing and just kind of keep building off of what is already being presented to us.
Now, Will, what does your family do? There are not many normal working class families that could go out and buy a speedway, so I assume you have business interests?
Yes, sir. I've always been into just investing and things like that. But overall, my father has owned London Drain Service, Greg March, for roughly 35 years now. He's done a great job of building the business, and my brother and I both work for him as long as about 10 other employees. It's a great company, and we've just kind of seen that this was the next opportunity, possibly building business opportunities. So we just want to see what we can do with it.
Will, obviously there's a lot of questions. Let's start with the basics. Will you be able to open on time and close on the regular, let's say, traditional schedule for that speedway? And classes, will they all be the same?
As of right now, we're looking at doing the same classes as last year, but we are hoping to be able to add sprint cars, hopefully some crates and 360s. That'd be awesome. But as well, we're kind of looking at the mini stocks. We're looking at a couple different ideas right now and seeing what really makes most sense. Because since it is later in the year, we don't want to rush too much and kind of a chaotic year. So we're gonna, we might do a little later of a start in the May. Might not get to start as early as that. We'll see, kind of thing. We're trying to figure all that out right now. We don't want to rush any racers or any teams and stuff. I want to make sure it's all organized. But overall, we would like to have a full schedule, and we'd like to bring more and more series to not only South Buxton, but throughout Southern Ontario.
Now, Will, I don't want to speak out of turn because I don't know the ins and outs down there, but I understand the municipality didn't always love what was going on in Buxton. Have you guys had an opportunity to talk to local politicians and make sure that everyone's paddling in the same direction?
Yes, sir. That is one of the main concerns we had. Is we did know there was some frustrations with the tracks over the years and things like that, and we just really want to bring back that home track feeling where everyone fits in, and it's just kind of more a welcoming place where you really enjoy being there, and you want to bring your family back every Saturday, and you want to come there, and you want to just camp out and all those little things. So it's really just one of those things where we're just trying to take a step back, and we're trying to look at not only what makes the most sense for the track, but for us, and in general, what the community wants and what they're more looking for from us and the track.
It's amazing. Well, you guys certainly have your hands full, but one thing I can say, Adam, and we know this, normally if you guys are buying a track where you're like, hopefully you get some support, but that place has rabid racers. You got 4 or 5 classes ready to go. You got fans coming out the wazoo who are ready to play. Adam and I touched on it earlier. When there's threat of losing your favorite spot and then it comes back, I think you cherish it a bit more and tend to support it a bit more. So I think you have a lot of things going for you in that way, Will. I guess the question is, Henry was a bit of a wild card. Let's put it that way. Is Henry still involved in this, or are you guys solely on your own and Henry has washed his hands of the place now?
Henry will be helping us the first season or two to just pretty much help us teach us any of the ins and outs of dirt racing. We've never owned a dirt track before, so this is going to be a new experience for us, and there is going to be some learning curves. But fortunately, with his help, hopefully things will go smooth, and we should have too rough of a first season. Right now, the track is pretty mint. Honestly, it doesn't need too much work. We might add a little more bank into the corners, but it's mainly just making sure things like the parking lot, the pit area for the crews, getting the tech and the scales all properly work, and doing more of the conventional racetrack organization more than anything at first, and then focusing more and more on the bigger stuff in the long run.
If people have questions, Will, if they want information, what avenues can they go to? Is there a website up and running, or is social media going to stay the same?
Right now we do have a post on Facebook, but we will be posting on the Southern Ontario Motorsports Speedway website. We'll be creating a TikTok account and an Instagram account, but as of right now, those do not exist. So we do hope to be engaging with our fans more and more through each social media platform soon. We just got everything signed today, so it's all a bit new. A lot of the guys are out right now celebrating and stuff. So,
Okay, couple quick questions, Will. Anybody going to be at Motorama this weekend from your crew?
no, sir. We're gonna get right to work. I started with painting and getting all this grandstands 100% ready, and just making sure we can, have much action as we can before we get into the season and get our too overwhelmed kind of thing. We want to make sure we can get an early jump on it.
Okay, name. What are you going to keep
Pardon,
the name, or are you going to change? What's the name of it going to be?
We're discussing that right now. We're debating on changing it back to South Buxton, but Speedway rather than Raceway. But right now, that's just a discussion. We're not 100% sure yet, but that will be released on a later date.
Hey, as long as people know what night you're racing and they know what it's going to cost to get into the front, I'm really excited for you. This is going to be, you're going to be drinking from the fire hose for a little while, but I think it's what an adventure. I mean, can you feel the energy that you've created, Will?
Oh, yes, sir. I honestly, I'm probably more nervous than I have ever been in my entire life. It's one of those things where it's a great, and the feeling it's great. I'm excited just to get started, and I'm just, I didn't really see this coming. It was one of those things. My dad and I talked about a couple days ago, and then all of a sudden it actually started being put to work, and all of a sudden we got the call today that everything got finalized, and here we are. And so it's one of those things that it's kind of surreal. I'm not really taking it all in just yet, but we do know where we want to go with the track. We want to overall get a go-kart track going, not only for if we can get the sprint car class going there more, then we'll have a warm track for them. But in general, maybe do something on like a Tuesday, since we know Schwegen and the other track, it slipped my mind on top of my head, but they race on Thursday for their go-karts. So we're thinking if we do it on Tuesday, maybe it gives those guys a couple more days of racing and stuff as well. So there's a couple different options right now that we're looking into, but we don't want to rush anything or make any promises and then have guys mad at us. So as of right now, we're not too sure. We're going to keep everything pretty basic as of this second, but there will be some changes coming, but I'm not 100% sure yet.
No problem, man. We appreciate you coming on tonight. I'll give you a bit of advice. The best advice Bobby Davidson gave me 8 years ago. When someone asks you something, tell them you look into it and get back to them. Gives you a little bit of time to work it out, buddy, okay? Put yourself into a corner and you can figure it out. No, on behalf of a sister track here, Oshweekend, it's great to have you guys back in the fold. Great to have all your racers somewhere to race. I mean, just good on you guys for bringing it back for the community. That's all I got. Adam, anything you want to say to Will before we send him off?
No, man. Good luck to you. You can't even imagine. You've got probably 500 new best friends and 499 new enemies. It depends on the day. It depends on the decision. But I think you're going to get a lot of support down there.
I really appreciate the kind words. I really appreciate you guys having me on here. It not only means a lot to me and my family, but to South Buxton. And it's just one of those things where I truly I hope we can continue to grow and eventually have you guys there and have your iconic voice, Adam, and overall Clinton reporting on the pit sides and everything like that. And hopefully we can just continue to grow and have we can be like a big brother to us and, teach us some of the things along the way. And we're just, we know we're new to this and we know we're going to learn some things, but we're open to any suggestions or advice, and that's all we can hope for, is hope for the best.
All right, well, great job on your family and everything that's going down there. We appreciate it. And I'm always here if you need me, bud. Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Have a good one, guys.
Thanks, Will.
Exciting news for the dirt racers in the West there, Adam. We almost lost one. There's a couple things going on. Everybody's wondering what's up with Humberstone. There's been no word out of that yet. We're here rumblings possibly, but so it's good to have South Bucks back. I didn't want to say this to Will, but you got to go back to Buxton. Nobody was ever going to call that place Southern Ontario Motor Speedway. Just like we all hate to call Jukasa. It's Cayuga Speedway for all of us. It's always going to be Buxton. Just like Humberstone was never Gasport Speedway. It's just the way it is. So, yeah, go back. Yeah. South Buxton, anything. We're all just going to call it Buxton. So if he just said Buxton, we'd all be cool with that.
I'll tell you what I really like from that interview, Clint, is that he knows there's things that he does not know. There's nothing scarier than someone with blind confidence. And I think this will be a humbling experience, but I think it'll be so rewarding too. I really believe that it's a special area. It's a special racetrack.
Now, let's turn this over to the racers down there a little bit. It's on you guys to not burn this family out. Okay? You need to change your culture. You need to change your attitude. You need to change the way you speak to the owners. You need to think about this because it's a privilege, like we tell them. This is their place. Without them, you'd be in a lot of trouble if you wanted to continue racing. That brings us into a couple other stories. Go ahead.
Well, you mentioned it. Henry was a unique individual, okay? But it was his sandbox. You can say anything you want. You can have opinions about every little thing you want to have opinions on, but don't piss in the sandbox that you're playing in. And I think people did that to the point where he took his ball and left, right? You saw what can happen when you...
think about when Henry moved to Canada here to buy the place from Texas and put all this money and passion and investment, and you don't do that unless you love it. And by the end of 5 years, his passion was pissed out the door to the point that he just wanted to leave the beach and said, someone can buy it, or I don't give a shit, it can stay closed. And that is a two-way partnership between the race teams. And I think I told our guys off in the crate thing the other day. I said, I'd rather you just go find somewhere else to race and be happy than coming to our backyard, spreading bullshit and having a shitty attitude. Just go do something else. And Mark Rinaldi, when we were talking about this last week, he told me when drivers get in his face, Mark tells them, please find something else to do. Because I hate the fact that you pay me and leave my place miserable every week. Please, go roller skating, go fishing, sell your car, do something that makes you and your family happy. Because this obviously isn't. So I think it's a big culture change where you got to work together between the tracks. And out of my very first day of the union address, I got hired right before the Usher Weekend banquet. I stood up there and said, if you guys all pull on this rope with me and not against me, we can do great things. We can get TV coverage. We can get corporate sponsors. We can bring in big entities. And we've done all that because we have a great culture at Usher Weekend. So, I wish them the best. We got a few more things to get through because we're up at the hour. I have a crazy weekend ahead. 4 days of Motorama coming up. Setup +3. Let's talk about a couple more things. Brockville last week, Adam, announced they were canceling their karting program for this exact region. The culture was toxic, and they'd had enough of shitty parents and bratty kids. So they just said, we're not opening the karting anymore, which was a big loss. And the community got a big wake-up call to realize, hey, maybe this isn't going to be, a great idea anymore for us to be so, I don't know what I want to say, controversial. Today, news came out that Brockville Speedway had another entity step up. And here it is, exciting karting news. After our decision to cancel the 2024 Brockville, Ontario Speedway karting season, we have great news. We are pleased to announce a prominent local business and racing family has come forward to take over the BOS karting program. The Tricky family will continue on Wednesday nights. Their knowledge with karting and racing will be a considerable asset to the kart racing program at the BOS. Stay tuned to the karting page for more details to follow with the weekly karting schedule, excluding the July 24th Big Block event. Further information regarding karts posted on this page. All further BOS karting questions to be directed to Dale Tricky. So interesting news there, Adam. You know, they found someone step out, but the Kirklands have still had enough. They've stepped out. The other second paragraph to that notice was Paul just said, hey, thanks for everybody who supported us, but we are out. So it's a less, don't burn up your promoters. You know, there's a better way to approach it. That's my news there. Any thoughts?
I have nothing to add to that. I agree with everything you've said.
Perfect.
I do have something to add to that. Flamborough Speedway. John Caselli loves the kart racing. He'll drive around on his golf cart. He loves the kids. He loves everything about it. But that is a kart club. He doesn't run the karting program. So it's a club that runs it. They just have it at his venue. So I'm really glad he gets to enjoy it and take it all in and not listen to any of the bitching, because I think it's actually been really refreshing for him. All of these dirt tracks that run karting programs, it's really the promoter of the track that also runs the kart program. So it compounds their headaches.
Yeah, I've been able to get Jeff Smith to kind of take that off my hands a little bit on Thursdays at Arch Weekend. But it is such an important stepping stone. And, like, we're making strides this year, too. And I know Maryville is, too. We had talks about that. They're going to tighten up their timing and scoring. Like, we are really trying to get our program as tight as it can be, like a Friday or Saturday night program, like our big track programs, because we understand the value of getting people in, taking it seriously. And I think the attitude from the track and how seriously you take your program adds a lot to the kind of bullshit flack you take on the other side of it, too. If you're on the up and up black and white, it's pretty easy to stand up in front of them and say, hey, it is what it is. Couple of notes here. Want to send a shout out to Bob Dentry. His wife Bonnie passed away. Wesley's aunt, Wesley Shaw. So thoughts go out to Bob and family and Bonnie's family. Cheryl Rutherford struggling, still fighting her battles. I see they're back in hospital. So all the best to you, Cheryl. I saw that Robbie Longboat was in the hospital too. Robbie's a regular here yesterday. He just said he had a glitch, and the doctor told him he had 25 more years. He was good to go, and they threw Robbie out of the hospital. So good campground. Robbie's out. I also got news that Casey, who ran our other campground, has suffered from some cancer and been through it. So, wow. From all our Arch Weekend people, we need a big hug this week. So if you know any of those folks, they're hurting and they need some support. So if you see them this weekend or anybody out, let them know you appreciate them, and we're sending our best thoughts. While we're on some good news now, congrats to Jibs, our sponsor, Mark Zuba and his crew. They're celebrating 15 years of action sports and getting kids off their asses and off the video games. And out there's a picture of Mark 15 years ago. Look at that picture. Look at that surfer stud. Back when they started, 15 years of selling some of the best action sports stuff around. They're headquartered in Burlington, have had multiple outlets over the years. Main thing is an online store, jibsactionsports.com. If you're into scooters, skateboards, or BMX, check them out. Canada's leading distributor and a great supporter of all things racing, and we appreciate everything they've done. A couple quick stories. Spencer, what do you got left? Max is so good. Let's look at this quickly, Adam. Did you see this? This was Max Verstappen's lap times from laps 19 to 27 in Sunday's race. So you can say best car, best team, but man, this type of consistency. 30.58, 30.57, 30.57, 30.55, 35.5, 35. Like, those are insane, consistent numbers, right? Like, and at the speeds and the machinery, it's just insane.
Did you see the reel going around of the F1 race, but Max Verstappen was sitting in an office chair, pedaling with his feet and keeping up with everybody?
No, funny. He's just that good. You know, people can bitch and say, oh, move here, move there, but wow, the numbers. Do we have Joey's gloves, Spencer? I'm not sure if we got them. I think we do. We talked a bit about it. There's your guy, Brad Moran, holding it up, Adam. So they've sewn the webbing here into the inside, and that got Joey a $10,000 penalty last week. Kind of a genius. Kind of neat.
I would say.
Wow. Is that all we got on the rundown?
Outside
I think
the
we
box.
made it. And we're only 6 minutes over. The other thing I just want to say, did you happen to see the end of the NASCAR race and Kyle Larson's celebration with his kids?
Mm-hmm.
You're like, is this going to turn into cheesy or not? But it was just so cool how he dropped the kids in the car. they knew how to take the side window out so they could wave at the fans. I thought it was great. I had to wonder though, is NASCAR going to come down on them? I think they let it go, but I'm thinking they probably gave him a talking to because that's just bad optics. Have the kid in the car driving it all. Like I know it's here we wouldn't like it, but in the States it may be a different situation. I thought it was great moment.
To me, the bad optic was watching his daughter making her way up to the celebration like minutes after. That was a long jaunt across the infield.
No, some great moments in NASCAR. Say what you want about it lately, though. The first few weeks have been astounding with the finishes and the races, and just some great moments. I will be at Motorama Friday, Saturday, and looking like Sunday right now. So I'll be there all week. Mostly Friday, Saturday. Come out if you can. Adam, when are you going to come by? Saturday?
Saturday. I'm going to spend some time there Saturday. And you know what, Clint? To me, that show and banquets have been kind of not that show, any racing shows and banquets have kind of been something that I haven't embraced for a number of years. And I got to take my own advice and start enjoying it because I love the people. Yeah, sorry, Decker's being a bit of a jerk. I really enjoy the people. And I don't get to talk to the people. I'm always up in a box talking at the people. By the time we get out, they're gone. So it's so nice to be able to just shoot the shit with racing folks and enjoy our passion.
Yeah, I'm excited to get out and just talk to everybody. I think the last couple of years we really got an eye-opener about how many people we were getting in front of. So I'm excited to see how many people want to come up and chat with us this week. I think it's safe to say you and I will be around the Oshweekend booth Saturday afternoon. Want to come by and say hi? Yep. We'll be there at the Oshweekend booth. Maryville Mall Show starts Monday in St. Catherine. That's a good point for you. I want to make sure we get that out for the Niagara Racers. Other than that, I'm excited to get to Motorama. Lots of good stuff. If you're a car enthusiast at all, whatever, if it's got nuts and bolts on it, you're going to find something you like at Motorama. Take advantage of that Friday deal. Greg ain't going to want to hear me say this, but you can see a lot in 3 hours at Motorama for $5 on Friday night. So if you can't come see us Saturday, get out there Friday.
Can I make you angry to close the show, Clinton?
Yeah, sure.
Folks, please stop by the Oshweekend booth this weekend and tell Clinton what you think about start-finish lines. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. He'll be there the whole weekend.
I have to find that video. One lady came up to me last year and says, "Is Adam here?" I said, "No." She goes, "Good, because he's such an ass, and I hope he just keeps his mouth shut." And I'm like, "Can I get that on video, ma'am?" It was awesome.
And I love that. Well, you know what? Angie and I talked about this going to dinner tonight. I get really upset if I've offended somebody, like really offended them, really upset them, because I don't say stuff I do like having opinions. I do like arguing with you and debating, but I never want someone to feel like they've been disrespected or as if I've been rude or disrespectful to something that they believe. But I love having a good debate. So for people to come up and whether they love it or whether they don't, you're still watching, you're still listening, so we thank you for it.
Yeah, we look forward to seeing everybody. It's racing season. Motorama's here. Next thing you know, it'll be media days, practice days. We'll be on the track before you know it. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out. Thanks, Spencer, for the 10 minutes of overtime tonight. We appreciate it. And thanks to everybody hanging out. We will see you next Tuesday.